Evan Hale worked the night shift at the small human research outpost on Selene 9, a quiet moon orbiting a gas giant. The base was tucked inside a rocky valley, and outside the lights of the outpost, the world was dark except for the soft glow of distant stars. Most of the crew preferred the daytime shifts, leaving Evan to manage the monitoring systems alone. He liked it that way. Night shifts were calm, predictable, and gave him time to think without the constant chatter of his colleagues. The hum of the generators and the quiet beeping of sensors were the only sounds that accompanied him. Everything was routine until one of the motion detectors near the forested region at the edge of the outpost began to flicker. A faint signal appeared on his screen, pulsing weakly. It was irregular, like something small was moving quickly through the underbrush. Evan frowned. There should not have been anything in that forest, not naturally. Curiosity won over caution. He grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside, the cold air brushing against his skin. The ground was uneven, with strange, silvery plants that glowed faintly in the moonlight. Evan moved slowly, following the signal. As he walked, the silence of the forest felt heavy, almost alive. Then he saw it. A small pod half buried in the dirt, its surface etched with swirling alien patterns. Evan's heart raced. He had seen escape pods before, mostly human or from trade vessels, but nothing like this. It was small, no more than 2 meters long, and seemed almost delicate, yet there was an energy radiating from it like a heartbeat. Carefully, he pried open the hatch. Inside was a girl, her body curled up, small and frail, with skin that shimmered softly under the pod lights. Her eyes, large and crystalline, slowly opened as she stirred. She looked at him not with fear, but with wariness. Then her gaze locked on his mind. Evan froze. She was not speaking with words, yet he could feel a presence inside his thoughts, as if someone had stepped quietly into his mind. "My name is Lyra," she said. Her voice was soft, but it was not spoken aloud. It was as if the sound traveled directly to his thoughts. Evan stepped back slightly, startled. Telepathy? He had read about species capable of communicating without speech, but he never thought he would meet one. "It's okay," Evan said cautiously. "I won't hurt you. I'm Evan." Lyra's eyes studied him carefully. Then, almost instinctively, she reached out and touched his forehead. A strange sensation flowed through him, not painful but disorienting. He could feel her trying to understand him, searching through his memories. It was sudden and overwhelming. Lyra's expression changed. Her wide eyes filled with confusion and fear. She pulled back and stumbled to her feet. "No!" she whispered mentally, her panic echoing in his mind. Without another word, she turned and ran into the forest. Evan's pulse quickened. "Wait, Lyra!" he called out, chasing after her. The soft glow of her skin flickered ahead of him, moving quickly through the thick underbrush. He had to be careful not to trip over roots or uneven rocks. The forest was alive with strange, soft lights. Glowing plants illuminated their path in shifting patterns, casting long, dancing shadows. Evan struggled to keep up. He had no idea why she had reacted that way, but he couldn't let her wander alone. Eventually, he found her crouched beside a small stream. She trembled, hugging her knees to her chest. Her crystalline eyes shimmered as she gazed at the water, trying to calm herself. Evan approached slowly, keeping his hands visible. "I didn't mean to scare you," he said gently. "I just wanted to help." Lyra's gaze flitted to him and back to the water. "Your thoughts, they are different." Her voice trembled, even in her mind. "So many, so much. War, pain, and yet, hope." Evan swallowed. "We're not perfect," he admitted. "Humans have done terrible things, yes, but we've also built, learned, and tried to help each other. That's part of us, too." Lyra shook her head. "I have never seen such memories. I was not ready. I should not have looked." Evan realized then that she was struggling to understand not just him, but the entire species. He took a deep breath, trying to think of what might help her feel safe. You don't have to understand everything at once. Just take your time. The alien girl's trembling slowed slightly. She whispered, I come from a world where peace is everything. My people, we do not know this much conflict. She paused. I should run again. I should hide. Not yet, Evan said softly. Let me help you first. You're hurt. She looked at him with those wide, reflective eyes and hesitated. Finally, she nodded slightly. Evan helped her back toward the outpost, supporting her as they walked. Inside the outpost, he led her to the medical bay. The room was sterile and bright, filled with familiar human machines that Lyra studied warily. Evan helped her lie down on a bed and activated the medical scanner. The soft whirring of the machine made Lyra tense at first, but she gradually relaxed when nothing harmful came from it. You're safe here, Evan said. No one will hurt you. Lyra looked at him, unsure if she believed him. She studied his face, his gestures, the way he moved with care. Slowly, she reached out. Not physically, but with her mind again, lightly brushing against his thoughts, more cautiously this time. She gasped, not in fear, but in shock. You are human, and yet you are different from what I expected. What did you expect? Evan asked, curious. Lyra's voice was almost a whisper. I expected cruelty, indifference, selfishness. But you care. Your memories, they show struggle, yes, but also determination, kindness, and courage. How can you hold so much? Evan smiled faintly. We survive because we try, even when things are hard. That's what makes us human. The alien girl looked away, visibly shaken. I cannot handle this yet. Her body stiffened. I must leave. Before Evan could stop her, Lyra stood and bolted for the door. Her speed and agility were surprising, and she vanished into the night before he could reach her. Panic surged through him. He ran after her, calling her name. Lyra, wait! The forest seemed endless, twisting in ways that made him lose his bearings. Strange, glowing plants created patterns that disoriented him. Then he heard her voice in his mind, frantic. I cannot stay! Your memories, too much! Evan slowed down, trying to reason with her. I know it's overwhelming, but I'm not your enemy. You're safe with me. She hesitated, her glowing form flickering between trees. Evan caught sight of her beside a small cliff edge overlooking a valley bathed in moonlight. She crouched, unsure whether to jump or retreat further. Evan approached carefully, keeping his distance. Lyra, look at me. I won't hurt you. Please. For a long moment, she only stared at him. Her breathing slowed, but fear still flickered in her eyes. Finally, she spoke. You are not like the others, but I do not understand this strength, this will. It's not easy, Evan admitted. Humans are complicated, but we fight for each other when it matters most. That's what you saw in my memories. Lyra studied him, the glow of her skin dimming slightly. I need time. I need to think. But perhaps you are different. Evan nodded, lowering his hands in peace. Take your time. I'll be here. For the first time since he found her, Lyra allowed herself to relax slightly. She looked out at the stars above the valley, the silver patterns of the plants glowing softly around them. The night was quiet again, except for the gentle rush of wind and the faint hum of the distant outpost. Evan stayed by her side, patient and calm, knowing that trust would not come quickly. He did not know what tomorrow would bring or what dangers might follow Lyra, but he understood one thing clearly. The alien girl had seen something extraordinary in him, and now, more than ever, he needed to help her understand humanity the way he did. Above them, the stars twinkled as if watching, silent witnesses to the beginning of an unexpected alliance, one that would challenge everything both species thought they knew about courage, fear, and hope. And far away in the dark reaches of space, something was stirring, moving closer, waiting for the right moment to strike. Evan did not yet know that this night, the moment he found Lyra, would change the fate of more than just the small moon outpost. It would change the destiny of humans, aliens, and all who would witness what it meant to fight not with power alone, but with heart. Evan stayed beside Lyra as the first hints of dawn colored the sky with pale orange and pink streaks. She remained quiet, hugging her knees to her chest, staring at the glowing plants that dotted the forest floor. Evan could sense that she was still trying to process everything she had seen in his memories. He did not rush her, but he knew that they could not remain in the forest forever. The outpost was the only place she could safely rest and recover, and yet even there, danger might follow. Finally, Lyra spoke, her voice soft, echoing in Evan's mind rather than through the air. "Your memories, they are different from what I expected. Humans, you fight, yes, and destroy sometimes, but there is courage, there is care." Evan nodded. "We are not perfect. We make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are terrible. But most of the time we try to do good. We fight to protect those we care about, even if it means risking everything." Lyra's eyes shimmered as she looked at him, her glowing skin pulsing faintly with her emotions. "I have never known a people like yours. My world, my people, we are peaceful. We avoid conflict whenever possible. We learn, we create, we protect. We do not understand war, though we have seen it in the stars." Evan listened carefully, wondering how much he could explain without frightening her further. "We humans, we fight because we have to, because sometimes there is no other choice. But we also create, and love, and hope. That is what you saw in my memories, too." Lyra shivered. I feel so much. Your memories, your thoughts, they are overwhelming. I saw the wars, the battles, the destruction, and yet I saw love, care, and determination. How can one being hold all of this?" Evan took a deep breath, trying to make her understand. "We grow strong because of it. Every challenge, every mistake, every moment of loss and hope, it shapes us. Humans survive because we keep going, no matter how impossible it seems. That is who we are." Lyra looked down at her hands, her fingers glowing faintly as if she were trying to calm herself. "You're kind, so strong, so unpredictable. That is why I ran. I did not know if I could trust what I saw. I feared that strength." Evan leaned closer, speaking softly. "You can trust me. I'm not going to hurt you. I want to help you." She hesitated, then nodded slightly. I want to trust you. But you must understand, I am being hunted. My people, my planet. We were attacked. I escaped. But they are looking for me. I cannot stay in one place for long." Evan's heart skipped a beat. He had guessed that she might be fleeing something, but hearing it confirmed the danger she was in. "Who is looking for you?" he asked carefully. Lyra's eyes darkened. "The Vorn Dominion. They are powerful, cruel. They conquer worlds, take what they want, and destroy those who resist. I escaped, but they will not stop until they find me." Evan thought quickly. The outpost was small and isolated, and while it was safe from natural dangers, it would not withstand an attack by a powerful alien force. "We need to warn Earth," he said. "If they know about you and your knowledge, they will come. We have to prepare." Lyra shook her head. You do not understand. The Vorn fear humans. They know your kind, your species. You are dangerous. That is why they want me. They think I can lead them to you, to your people. Evan frowned. Dangerous? Why would they think humans are dangerous? Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. Humans, you survive. You endure. You rise again and again, even after impossible odds. That is why the Vorn fear you. You fight in ways that cannot be predicted. And that is why I ran. I did not know if your strength was a threat or a hope. Evan considered her words. Humans were known for their resilience, for turning impossible situations into victories. But to hear it described by someone from another world made him see it differently, through her eyes. We may be dangerous, yes, he said slowly, but not because we want to harm. We are dangerous because we do not give up no matter what. Lyra studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Perhaps you are different, but we must move. The Vorn will come soon. Evan helped her to her feet, careful not to rush her. Together they moved back toward the outpost, careful to stay hidden among the glowing plants. As they walked, Evan noticed Lyra observing everything with fascination. Her eyes followed the smallest details, the curve of the outpost walls, the flicker of the lights, the hum of the machinery. She was intelligent, alert, and cautious, every movement precise. When they reached the outpost, Evan guided her inside. The familiar human environment seemed strange to her. The lights, the machines, the furniture, all mundane to humans, but extraordinary to someone from another world. He led her to a small guest room where she could rest. You can stay here, he said gently. No one will disturb you. Lyra glanced around the room, her eyes wide. It is different, safe. I feel safe. Evan nodded. That's the idea. Rest. We'll figure out the next steps together. She sat on the bed, still glowing faintly, and stared at her hands. I am not used to trusting others, she said quietly. I have always relied on my own abilities. I did not know if humans were to be trusted, but you are not like what I expected. Evan smiled softly. I'm glad you trust me at least a little. We'll need that trust if we are going to survive what's coming. Lyra looked at him, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the room's lights. Survive. Yes, that is what we must do. But the Vorn, they will not give up easily. They will come and they will not be merciful. Evan sat down beside her. We will prepare. We have technology, communication, and each other. That is more than enough to start. We will warn Earth, and we will be ready. For the first time since she arrived, Lyra allowed herself to relax slightly. She looked at Evan, her large crystalline eyes searching for reassurance. You truly believe humans can endure? That we can fight together? Evan nodded. I do. Humans endure, and we help those who cannot help themselves. That is who we are. And now, that includes you. Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile. Then, perhaps there is hope. Perhaps your memories. They do not show all humans, only those who fight for what is right. That is comforting. Outside, the faint hum of the outpost continued, a small but steady reminder that life and routine still existed. Inside, two beings from different worlds sat together, learning to trust one another. One was human, shaped by struggle and resilience. The other was alien, shaped by peace and caution. Yet despite their differences, they were united by circumstance and necessity. The hours passed slowly. Evan checked the outpost systems, monitored the sensors, and ensured that communication channels were ready. Lyra rested, her glowing skin fading in the soft room light. She occasionally reached out with her mind, cautiously, to observe Evan without intrusion. Each time she did, she seemed to understand a little more about him, about humans, and about the strange balance between strength and compassion. As night fell again, the tension returned. Lyra's restlessness became apparent. "I cannot stay still for long," she admitted. "The Vorn, they are relentless. I can sense them, even from here. They are searching, moving closer." Evan frowned. "Then we must act quickly. We cannot hide forever. We need to contact Earth, explain the situation, and prepare defenses. Can you help me?" Lyra nodded. "I can. I will help, but we must be careful. One wrong move, and they will find us." Together they moved to the communications room. Evan brought up the long-range transmitter, preparing a secure channel to Earth. Lyra studied the equipment, her sharp mind analyzing the unfamiliar technology. "Your species, you create many tools," she said. "Efficient, yet fragile in some ways." Evan chuckled softly. "Some of them are fragile, yes, but with careful handling they work, and we will handle this together." As they prepared the message, the first faint signals appeared on the sensors. Vorn ships were entering orbit, scanning for any sign of the alien girl. Lyra's eyes widened in alarm. "They are here. Too close. We must hurry." Evan transmitted the warning, detailing Lyra's arrival, the Vorn threat, and the coordinates of the outpost. The message was long, detailed, and urgent. He hoped Earth would receive it in time. As the final transmission sent, a shadow moved outside the window. Vorn scouts had landed, moving toward the outpost. Evan and Lyra exchanged a determined glance. There was no turning back now. They would face the Vorn together, using their combined strengths, intelligence, and courage. Lyra touched Evan's arm lightly, not in fear, but in solidarity. "We fight together," she said. Evan nodded. "Together." Outside, the night was alive with movement. Inside, two beings from different worlds prepared to stand against an enemy far greater than themselves. The first battle had not yet begun, but they both knew that the survival of more than just their lives depended on what happened next. The forest, the outpost, the stars above, all seemed to hold their breath. And in that quiet moment, Evan realized that finding Lyra had changed everything. Humanity was about to meet an alien world in a way no one had expected, and together they would face the challenge, not with fear, but with courage. The outpost was quiet but tense. Every flicker of light on the sensors, every hum of machinery, reminded Evan that danger was closing in. The Vorn scouts had landed nearby, and they were moving closer, scanning the area with cold, precise efficiency. Lyra stood beside him, her glowing skin dimmed as she focused on the alien signals in the forest and sky. Her eyes, crystalline and alert, scanned every corner of the outpost. "We cannot hide forever," Lyra said softly, her voice echoing in Evan's mind. "They will find us soon." Evan nodded. "We won't hide. We fight if we have to. But first we prepare. Can you help me?" Lyra's eyes glimmered. "I will help. But you must understand. My abilities are different. I can influence thoughts, confuse senses, but I cannot fight like you." "You don't have to," Evan said. "We each have our strengths. That is enough." The first step was reinforcing the outpost defenses. Evan moved quickly, checking the automated turrets, strengthening the energy shields, and setting up traps along the perimeter. Lyra floated beside him, using her telepathy to sense the movements of the Vorn scouts outside. She could feel their fearlessness, their cold efficiency, but she also felt something else: hesitation when they sensed the humans inside. "They know humans are dangerous," she said quietly. "They are cautious." Evan smiled faintly. "Then that is something we can use." As they worked, Lyra explained more about her people. "We are scholars and creators," she said. "We study the stars, the life in it. My people, we avoid violence, But we have intelligence that can change outcomes. The Vorn, they are the opposite. They conquer, destroy, and take what they want. They do not understand balance, only power. Evan listened carefully. The more he understood about Lyra's world, the more he realized the stakes. If the Vorn captured her, they could use her knowledge to find other human settlements, other worlds. Then we must stop them, he said firmly. Lyra nodded. Yes, but the Vorn are clever. They will anticipate traps, avoid danger. We must use our minds, not just machines. Together, they devised a plan. The outpost was small, but they could create the illusion of greater strength. Evan rigged decoys, motion sensors, and electromagnetic pulses that could disrupt the Vorn's equipment. Lyra added her telepathic influence, amplifying confusion and fear in the enemy scouts without harming them. As night fell again, the first scouts approached. They moved like shadows, silent and precise. Evan and Lyra waited, hidden behind reinforced walls, hearts pounding. When the scouts entered the perimeter, Lyra reached out mentally, planting subtle suggestions in their minds: misdirection, hesitation, a sense that the outpost was more heavily guarded than it appeared. The scouts faltered. Evan activated the decoys, sending holographic images of armed humans moving across the grounds. The combination of human engineering and Lyra's abilities worked perfectly. The scouts panicked slightly, retreating to reassess. "They will not attack immediately," Lyra said, "but they will return, and next time, they will be stronger." Evan nodded. "Then we prepare. We learn from this encounter and improve." The hours passed slowly. They monitored the sensors, checked the traps, and communicated quietly. Outside, the moonlit forest was calm, but both of them knew that danger lurked just beyond the shadows. Lyra floated near the communications console, observing the messages they had sent to Earth. "Your people will respond," she said, "but it will take time. The Vorn, they are fast. We must survive until help arrives." Evan sighed. "We will. We have no other choice." They spent the next day fortifying the outpost further. Evan repaired broken panels, strengthened the shields, and recalibrated the turrets. Lyra used her telepathy to sense potential vulnerabilities, warning him when she felt the scouts moving closer or when the forest seemed unusually quiet. By evening, the Vorn returned. This time they came in greater numbers, more organized and careful. Their armor glinted under the moonlight, their movements precise and deadly. Evan and Lyra watched from the control room, hearts racing but minds focused. "They think they can overwhelm us," Lyra said, "but they do not understand humans. They do not understand you." Evan adjusted the shields and set the automated defenses to maximum. "Then let's show them what humans can do." As the Vorn reached the perimeter, Lyra focused her energy, sending waves of confusion through their minds. The scouts stumbled, weapons misfiring, communication disrupted. Evan activated the traps, holographic decoys, electromagnetic pulses, and automated turrets, turning the small outpost into a dangerous maze for the invaders. The Vorn commander appeared, a tall figure in black armor, radiating authority and menace. He moved forward confidently, expecting an easy capture, but every step he took triggered traps or disrupted his sensors. Confusion spread through his forces, and Evan realized that this was their chance to hold the line. Lyra's telepathy extended further, guiding the humans' automated defenses with precision. The Vorn could sense danger, but they could not locate its source. Evan, working quickly, targeted critical points in the enemy formation, using both strategy and improvisation. The Vorn commander roared in frustration. "This is impossible! Humans cannot be this organized!" Evan smirked, feeling a surge of confidence. "We fight because we must survive. That is what makes us human." Lyra glanced at him, her eyes shining. "Yes, That is why I trust you. That is why we can win. Hours passed, each minute stretching with tension. The Vorn attacked relentlessly, but every move they made was countered by a combination of human ingenuity and Lyra's telepathic guidance. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The Vorn realized that this was not a simple target. It was a trap they could not control. Finally, the Vorn commander ordered a retreat. His forces withdrew, leaving behind a trail of confusion and damaged equipment. The forest was silent once more, save for the hum of the outpost's systems. Evan leaned back, exhausted but relieved. "They won't give up forever," he said. "They'll be back. But we survived this." Lyra floated beside him, her glow softening. "I understand now. Humans are dangerous not because you destroy, but because you never give up. That is what I saw in your memories. That is what makes you strong." Evan smiled faintly. "It's not just me. It's everyone. And now it's both of us." Lyra nodded. "Yes, together we are stronger. But we must be ready. The Vorn will learn from this. They will not underestimate humans again." Evan checked the communications console. The message to Earth had been received, and reinforcements were on the way, though it would take time for ships to arrive. Until then, they had to hold their ground and continue to prepare. The night passed slowly. They monitored the sensors, adjusted defenses, and rested when they could. Lyra practiced using her abilities more efficiently, learning to confuse the Vorn scouts without exhausting herself. Evan worked tirelessly, repairing systems, reinforcing shields, and planning contingencies. By the time dawn broke again, both of them were tired, but determined. The Vorn had retreated, but their presence was still a threat. Every moment of preparation could mean the difference between survival and capture. Lyra floated near the window, watching the forest. "They will return," she said quietly. "But now, I believe we can face them." Evan stood beside her. "Yes, humans survive against impossible odds, and now with you, we have an advantage they did not expect." They spent the day preparing traps, setting up defensive perimeters, and coordinating strategies. Each task was carefully planned, combining human ingenuity with Lyra's telepathic abilities. They moved as a team, understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses. As night fell once more, the first signs of Vorn ships appeared in orbit. They were cautious, scanning for threats, trying to locate Lyra. Evan and Lyra exchanged a glance, their resolve firm. They knew this battle was only the beginning, but they were ready to face it together. Lyra's glow intensified slightly, a sign of her growing confidence. "We will hold them off," she said, "and when reinforcements arrive, we will show them what humans and their allies can do." Evan nodded, feeling a surge of hope. "Yes, we fight, we endure, and we survive. That is what makes us human." Outside, the forest seemed to hold its breath, the stars above shining quietly. Inside, two beings from different worlds prepared to face an enemy that thought it could conquer without resistance. But they were wrong. The humans, with courage and ingenuity, and the alien girl, with knowledge and power, would stand together. The battle had begun in small ways, through traps, misdirection, and strategy. But the larger conflict was coming, and both Evan and Lyra knew that it would test their strength, their minds, and their determination. Yet neither of them doubted one thing. Together, they could face anything. And as the first scouts approached the outpost once more, Evan felt a strange sense of calm. This was what he had been waiting for, a chance to prove, not just to the Vorn, but to himself, what it truly meant to fight for survival, hope, and friendship. The outpost trembled under the faint hum of the approaching Vorn fleet. Evan stood at the control console, his hands steady despite the tension coiling in his chest. Lyra floated beside him. her soft glow casting gentle light across the room. They had spent hours reinforcing defenses, preparing traps, and setting the automated turrets to full power, but nothing could completely erase the dread of facing a force as merciless as the Vorn. "They are coming," Lyra whispered in his mind, her voice tight with concern. "I can feel them. Every moment. Closer, stronger. This will be their largest attack yet." Evan nodded. "Then we meet them. We do not hide. We fight." His eyes met hers, firm and unwavering. Together. The first wave of Vorn ships entered the atmosphere, descending with precision and speed. Shadows flickered across the moonlit forest as the landing parties disembarked, clad in black armor that gleamed with alien efficiency. Their weapons were unlike anything Evan had seen, pulsing energy rifles, shields that shimmered with light, and suits that enhanced their strength and speed. Lyra's glow intensified. "I can confuse them," she said. "Distract their senses, make them hesitate. But it will take concentration. You must lead the defense." "I can do that," Evan replied. "We'll hold them off, and when Earth receives the message, help will come. We just need to survive until then." The Vorn scouts advanced through the perimeter. Lyra reached out with her telepathy, planting subtle illusions and distractions in their minds. The soldiers hesitated, their movements faltering as phantom obstacles appeared in their path. Evan activated the first wave of automated turrets, and holographic decoys sprang to life, showing armed humans moving across the outpost grounds. The combination of human strategy and Lyra's abilities caused confusion in the Vorn ranks. One squad stumbled over false terrain, another fired at illusions, wasting precious time. The Vorn commander, tall and imposing, observed the chaos with disbelief. He had expected an easy capture, but what he found was a coordinated defense stronger than anything he had encountered. Evan moved quickly, issuing commands to the automated systems, adjusting the turret angles and activating traps in areas where the Vorn were most concentrated. Lyra amplified his instructions with her telepathy, creating a network of mental signals that guided the machines and their sensors to anticipate the enemy's moves. "They do not expect this," Lyra whispered. "Their arrogance blinds them. Use it." Evan smiled faintly, feeling a surge of determination. "Then let's make them regret it." The battle intensified. Energy blasts from the Vorn rifles collided with the shields, sparks scattering in all directions. The automated turrets fired with precision, hitting targets that had faltered in confusion. Lyra extended her influence, subtly amplifying hesitation and fear in the Vorn soldiers without harming them physically. Every step they took became uncertain, every command questioned in their minds. Despite the chaos, the Vorn commander pressed forward, his presence radiating authority and menace. He moved quickly, analyzing the battlefield, trying to regain control. But Evan anticipated his movements, guiding the defenses with a combination of logic, intuition, and bold improvisation. Lyra's telepathy touched the Vorn commander briefly, planting the faintest sense of doubt in his mind. He froze for a moment, questioning his strategy, and that hesitation allowed Evan's turrets to strike a critical point in the Vorn formation. Several scouts were disarmed and retreating, their confidence shattered. The commander growled, frustration evident even without words. "Impossible! Humans cannot be this organized!" Evan leaned closer to the console, adjusting the automated defenses. "We are humans," he replied, his voice steady. "We survive, we endure, and we fight for each other." Lyra's glow brightened, almost in response to his words. "That is what I saw in your memories," she said. "The courage, the hope, that is your strength. That is why I trust you. That is why we will survive." The battle raged through the night. The Vorn regrouped and attempted new strategies. But each was countered by Evan's ingenuity and Lyra's telepathic guidance. They had become a team, a combination of human resilience and alien intellect that the Vorn had not anticipated. As the hours passed, Evan realized something remarkable. The Vorn were learning from their own mistakes, adapting, but so were they. Every trap, every illusion, every mental nudge from Lyra improved their ability to predict and counter the enemy. Their small outpost became a fortress of strategy, determination, and courage. Lyra hovered above the control console, her energy focused and precise. "They will not give up easily," she said. "The commander, he understands now that humans are unpredictable. We must be ready for their final assault." Evan nodded. "Then we face it head on. No fear, no hesitation. Just survival and hope." The final wave descended. The Vorn commander led a concentrated strike on the outpost's central area, determined to capture Lyra and destroy the human defenses. Energy blasts tore through the perimeter, but Evan's preparations held. The shields absorbed the initial impact, the turrets fired relentlessly, and Lyra's telepathy disrupted the enemy coordination. Evan moved among the consoles, adjusting power distribution, directing fire, and monitoring weak points. Lyra's influence guided him, creating perfect synergy between human skill and alien perception. Even the Vorn commander could not predict their next moves, and each hesitation became an advantage. At the crucial moment, Evan activated a final trap, a combination of electromagnetic pulses and holographic illusions that made the outpost appear abandoned in certain sections while showing armed defenders in others. The Vorn commander hesitated, caught between multiple threats that were not really there. Lyra focused her energy, amplifying doubt and confusion directly into the minds of the Vorn soldiers. They faltered, their attacks becoming disorganized. Evan saw the opportunity and directed the automated turrets to strike with precision, disabling several key units and forcing the commander to retreat. The Vorn withdrew, leaving behind a battlefield filled with disrupted equipment and retreating soldiers. The forest outside was silent once more, except for the hum of the outpost's systems. Evan sank into a chair, exhausted but alive. Lyra floated beside him, her glow dimming slightly as she relaxed. "We have done it. For now," she said softly. "The Vorn understand now. Humans are not to be underestimated." Evan nodded. "They will return someday, but we survived, and we are stronger because of it. You saw it too, didn't you? That courage, that hope in my memories. It is real. That is what makes us human." Lyra looked at him, her large, crystalline eyes reflecting admiration and understanding. "Yes, your memories. They were true. Your strength is not in weapons or numbers alone. It is in your will to endure, your determination to fight for what is right. That is why I trust humans now." Evan smiled faintly. "And I trust you. We make a good team." They spent the next hours securing the outpost, repairing minor damage, and preparing for any further attacks. The Vorn might retreat for now, but they would return stronger, more organized. Still, Evan felt confident. With Lyra by his side, they had a chance to survive anything. When morning arrived, the sky filled with the soft glow of dawn. The forest around the outpost seemed peaceful once more, but both of them knew that peace was temporary. Lyra floated near the window, observing the horizon. "They will learn from this," she said. "The Vorn will be more careful next time, but they will not understand everything. They cannot understand human determination." Evan stood beside her. "No, they cannot, but we can use that to our advantage. Every day we survive, we learn, we prepare. And that is what makes humans dangerous in a way they cannot predict." Lyra's glow pulsed with a warm, soft light. "I have learned much from you, Evan. Your memories were only the beginning. I now understand why humans endure, why you fight when all seems lost. That is admirable." Evan put a hand on her shoulder gently. And you've taught me something too. You've shown me that courage comes in many forms, and that intelligence and understanding are as powerful as any weapon. Together, we are stronger. They spent the day reinforcing the outpost further, repairing systems and preparing for any eventuality. They shared stories of their worlds, learning from each other, building trust that went beyond survival. Lyra told him about the peaceful civilizations she had known, the lessons her people had learned over generations. Evan shared stories of humanity, of struggles and triumphs, of mistakes and moments of hope. By nightfall, the outpost was ready. The Vorn might return, but Evan and Lyra were prepared. They had faced impossible odds and survived, proving that human ingenuity, courage, and determination could overcome even the most advanced enemy. As they looked out at the stars above, both of them knew that the future was uncertain, but they also knew that together, they could face it. The Vorn would return, but humanity had learned a powerful lesson about hope, courage, and the strength that comes from standing together. Lyra turned to Evan. I will stay. I will help. Together, we will face whatever comes. Evan smiled, feeling a sense of pride and determination he had never known before. Then let's make sure they never forget what it means to face humans and survive. That is our promise, to each other and to everyone who may come after us. The night settled over the outpost, quiet but full of purpose. Two beings from different worlds stood side by side, ready for whatever challenges the universe might throw at them. They had survived the Vorn, learned from each other, and forged a bond stronger than fear. And as the stars shone above, Evan realized that this was only the beginning of something extraordinary, an alliance that could change the fate of many worlds. No one knew what the Vorn would attempt next, but one thing was certain. Humanity, guided by courage and united with allies like Lyra, would never give up. They would endure, fight, and survive, no matter the odds. And in that determination, the universe would see what it truly meant to face humans and fail.